All right,
Yes.
so this sump pump being installed, taking water away,
Yes.
it mostly prevents the
Yes.
footing being affected,
Yes,
which holds
exactly.
up the entire house. Welcome to Edmonton Real Estate Today, and today I'm here with Chris from Alberta Property Inspection. Today Chris will be dealing and showing you homeowners how to check your sump pump.
This is a typical installation of a sump pump, usually in the furnace room. It has to be accessible, and you must check it about 4 times a year. We generally say the change of season. So the first thing is I'm going to take off the lid. So we'll get the lid off. Okay, so now we have access to the sump pump. So the next thing you need to do if you're doing your test is what I do is take a look at the bottom of the pit. Now, if there's a lot of clay in your sump pit or sand or any debris in here, and I do see a couple of little things in there, I would suggest that you remove that. Because if that gets into the pump impeller, it'll basically ruin your sump pump. So make sure it's nice and clean. The next thing that I like to do is to reach down and lift the float. But when we get into spring runoff, maybe after a big storm, you will see the water trickling from this pipe into the pit. What will end up happening is this float will rise. When it hits a certain level, it kicks in.
Right, and that would get the water going out.
Yes. Now, the other thing that you can do, if you want to just come up over here, is sump pump. You actually have a double plug. So what you can do if you want to do a quick test is just remove the plug. This is the actual float here. This is for the pump itself. And what you can do is just plug this in direct, and you can hear the pump run.
Yes.
And you can run that right to the bottom if you want to clean it out, and that way you're basically cleaning out all the water out of the pit if you want to do a nice cleaning in there. So once you're done, just put it back together and just plug this back in. And incidentally, this should be a dedicated circuit, so to having something else like a freezer plugged into here is not a good idea. And in new homes now, you're only allowed to have just the one plug for the sump there.
That's one plug. So right now, the way this is set up, you should not have this in here. Only your sump pump plugged into this, because you're saying if this is plugged in, possibly could trip the circuit. Therefore, the pump doesn't work. We have water come in and flood your basement. Okay.
Generally say, as a rule of thumb, that the sump pump should be replaced about every 5 to 7 years. Okay, and then when you're done, make sure that you put your lid back on, and you must have screws installed.
And those I held on to.
Yeah, so very, very important if you have pets and stuff to make sure that the lid is